Okay, hello, my name is Wayne Seguin. I work at Stark Wayne under the illustrious leader, Dr. Nick Williams, who many of you have probably either met, interacted with, or at least read some stuff that has flown from his fingers. First, real quick, an announcement. We put something up for the conference. It'll actually remain up after the conference. It's trycf.starkandwayne.com. It allows you to try out Cloud Foundry on EC2 by just entering an AWS ID and key and your email address. It goes ahead and stands up a large VM with Cloud Foundry running on it. It then emails you the details of it, deletes your credentials, and you can then go kick the tires on Cloud Foundry in case, this is just similar to standing up Bosch Lite on your laptop, except it's on EC2. So please give it a try. Okay, so without further ado, we'll get started. Oh, and another thing, now that the conference is over, our leader, Dr. Nick Williams, is currently flying back from Australia. The timing is not necessarily so good, but it's fun stuff. So Stark & Wayne, wait a minute, what the heck is that? Well, quite frankly, we're a consultancy focused on doing absolutely anything and everything to earn your money. Oh, wait, no. We're a consultancy, and our primary focus is professional services and training for everything surrounding the Cloud Foundry, as you've heard over and over again at this conference ecosystem, which basically boils down to Bosch, Cloud Foundry, services, infrastructure as a service, things like OpenStack and vSphere and such things. And basically, we are here to help you ease your journey and make you look very successful to the rest of your company and your clients in operating your own PaaS for internal purposes, external purposes. We also help you learn how to migrate your applications and interface with legacy systems, really whatever is necessary around these core concepts. So now on to the talk. So this talk is about trying to find a level of visibility for our enterprise customers surrounding Bosch and Cloud Foundry. The open source world, we have a lot of tools that we can rely on and kind of piecemeal together a lot of stuff around monitoring, alerting, and notifications and all this other stuff. However, when it comes to doing enterprise, there's a whole other set of requirements, and so we're trying to figure out a good story to help our customers with answering their needs. And so I'm going to go through a list of the needs in the following slides and kind of where we're at and what we're thinking at the moment and what our plans are for the near-term future. So what is the goal exactly? The goal, simply stated, is enterprise operations monitoring. Well, what the hell does that mean, right? It means these following requirements that are usually associated with enterprises. We have basically the need for a complete operational overview, cross-systems correlation. So we're not just talking about monitoring Cloud Foundry. We need visibility into all the auxiliary services and the infrastructure surrounding the Cloud Foundry and other things, not just monitoring Cloud Foundry, monitoring Bosch, or those things. So we need something that can kind of do it all. And another big thing is root cause analysis. When things fail, you need to find out why and make sure it doesn't happen again. That's a really big item. Historical auditing. So this is kind of a two-pronged thing. You need the ability to reflect on the systems as they're running for the purposes of capacity planning, as well as for several we've been involved with, the billing systems accuracy and verification and validation. So this could be from the point of, hey, AWS is charging us a ginormous bill. Are they actually charging us what they should be? So this is for reflecting on answering those questions, as well as, hey, we're charging our customers for utilizations. You know, are we being accurate in what we're charging them? Or are we charging them enough? Like, are we missing things, right? So these are kind of questions that you really want to answer when it comes to these. And finally, enterprise requirements, so forensics. Whenever something in the system fails, yes, it's absolutely wonderful. There's 4 levels of high availability between Cloud Foundry and Bosch. Each has 2 levels. And you get the resurrectors in Bosch that bring things back. That's wonderful. That's just absolutely wonderful. However, why did it fail in the first place? Why did that VM go away in the first place? we kind of need the ability to look back into the past, into the history, after the VMs no longer, or systems no longer exist. They're not coming back. We need the ability to actually go back and say, what happened, right? Let's find the root cause of what happened, do some forensics work, but we need the ability to do this away from the systems, and again, they're not there anymore. So especially with like EC2, they're just liable to go, and then, nope, they're gone. True story. So security, this one's always fun. Security is all about, well, who and what and when, where, how. The why is kind of interesting. That's basically the root cause analysis. And there's a lot of auxiliary stuff around security, as well as fraud detection. Like if you're running a public PaaS and you have like people doing nefarious things on your systems, actually detecting who they are, what the heck they're doing, right? And reacting to these things is kind of important. The why is more for if you've been breached or anything else like that, trying to figure out like why that was allowed or why that happened and how you can close those gaps later on. So in order to provide or meet these enterprise features, we need to collect a certain very large set of data. So there's the standard stuff that you would expect to collect, system metrics such as your CPU, RAM, disk, network, what everybody that does monitoring collects. Similarly, the same kind of stuff, but at process level, you want to basically be able to know CPU and RAM. Well, that's great from an operations standpoint. Files and socket read writes, the transactions per second for all of these, those are also very important. Knowing what threads are running and what the heck the threads within processes are doing can also really be helpful with operations. We live in a virtual world, right? Especially with like EC2 and Google Compute Engine. Well, how much are their hypervisors and systems stealing from the VMs that you're paying to be online, right? It would be really great to actually know how much time, CPU time and stuff is stolen from you. Especially with the stolen time, it's especially important as people like to overcommit and bring those overcommit ratios up so that they can make more money at your expense. So this is how you detect if they're actually doing that. That'd be great to know. Logs, duh. Data collection, let's see here, where I'm pulling. So these things are interesting. So a lot of metrics like NRPE, that is the Nagios checks, right? So every minute or 5 minutes or whatever your polling intervals happens to be, you want to check your database using database check strips. Basically, I think like Nagios has like encroaching on 4,000 different like scripts in their open repository they have online. An amazing resource. And basically, you could also write your own custom. They have these, the NRPE is a very well-defined interface, and you can add your own. We want to be able to collect these things. Similarly, in the Java world, we have JMX. We really want, like for all of our, especially in the enterprise, we have a lot of different Java applications out there, and we need to be able to collect the JMX statistics as well. A lot of enterprises also run a lot of services on .NET framework. This is where Windows performance counters come in. So really, for the enterprises that we've been talking to and dealing with, they don't have just, oh, we only deploy Linux. No. They have just tons of systems. They have Windows systems. They have legacy. Some of them even have mainframe systems, but I'm not even going there today. But they have a just very big polyglot of different languages, as well as Linux and Windows systems that they need to monitor for all these things that we're looking at. Another great thing that we'd be able to collect is application-specific metrics, and this is the kind of things that like Etsy StatsD excels in collecting. I'd really like to be able to pull that namespace type data out from our applications and then feed that back for maybe improving the applications themselves, or even seeing, okay, how are our applications doing, or even, so secondarily to that, I almost got ahead of myself, is the ingestion of APM summaries. APM is the application performance monitoring. Things like New Relic. It'd be great to be able to also pull those in and just correlate those right around alongside of all of our systems data. Business metrics, the KPIs, key performance indicators for business. A lot of times, the operations of the systems and the load on the systems directly correlate with very key performance indicators in the business metrics, it would be great for us to be able to bring those into the system as well and display them right alongside or correlate them right alongside. Physical devices. So Cloud Foundry, Bosch, everything's like deploying on infrastructure providers, which basically give us virtual machines and all this stuff. We also have physical hardware underneath that, including the networking, which is switches, routers, the SAN network, compute servers. So the servers themselves that are running the compute nodes and the control nodes and everything else, we want to actually collect the IPMI metrics off of those as well. It'd be great to pull them in to help zone in for root cause analysis on what the heck's going wrong at that level. Am I asking too much yet? What else would we like? We would like basically the ability to suck in third-party data APIs. For example, if we're running part of our operations on EC2, well, what's relevant there? CloudWatch. They have their own view of the world and how it's operating. It'd be great to pull those in and correlate those with the rest of the data that our systems are having. So yeah, that's a hell of a lot of data we want to collect in order to get great visibility and react on that and improve our business. So we want to take all this data and then summarize it. And what are the requirements for summarizing all this data? Well, we want to basically create operational dashboards, at least from our perspective surrounding Cloud Foundry. We want to basically map out, have a dashboard dedicated to Bosch itself, the overall health. We want to be able to drill down and say, each Bosch subsystem, we want to be able to check and see how healthy it is and if there's anything that needs our attention before we have to actually pay attention. Same exact story for the Cloud Foundry subsystems. For example, we want to keep especially close eye on the DEA pool, right? We want to basically see when we're getting towards capacity, and we do have some interesting things in the works for like the autoscaler that Udai showed us, but it'd be great if it was fed with really good information as well. So we basically want to have dashboards to show all of these various subsystems like the router, the message bus, the cloud controller, et cetera. In addition, it'd be great if, for those of us running not only running our clouds, but it's for our internal customers where we control the application code and everything else like that, it would be great to be able to emit the application metrics that I was mentioning before, such that we can pull up application-specific dashboards as well. And just like the same story for the business key performance indicators, the dashboards for those as well. Again, huge list of wants. This is the ideal scenario for what we want to get to. So also, because it's never enough just to have static dashboards, there's a lot of things that you would want to export some of this data for introspection and reaction. We may want to basically have other third-party dashboards and stuff like that. We may also want to do some analysis, or hell, automation, like the autoscaler. We may want to feed some of this information back into systems like the autoscaler to actually allow it to perform better and make good decisions. And again, like the fraud example earlier today, a lot of this data that's collected maybe goes back into the fraud detection algorithms, right? That would be good for feeding that. Some experience-based requirements as well. The ability to detect and alert on, like, for example, zombie container processes. This is a real issue when it comes to running Cloud Foundry. Sometimes the warden containers for the application processes running in the DA pools just zombie themselves and kind of block up resources, and it's just not a good situation. Being able to detect that and either destroy the VM so that another one gets in its place and rebalance or whatever, mitigate that issue up front when it first happens versus post-forensics with the logs, that would be wonderful. A couple years back, Amazon decided that they would, I'm not sure it wasn't a conscious decision, but they decided they would remount everybody's file systems read-only. They had a big, huge disk networking issue, and that caused a number of hours of downtime for a lot of people while they tried to figure out what the hell happened. Eventually, they figured out, oh, well, the file system was remounted read-only. We now have to go reboot everything. Wouldn't it have been great if they just saw an alert and that said this happened so they know, oh, we just got to go reboot everything? And we're talking about minutes versus hours of downtime. Similarly, there's like file systems might get mounted in place of another that was supposed to be there. This does happen, can happen. It'd be great to detect those types of scenarios as well. So those are all my like wish list for things that we've discussed with our enterprise clients and stuff like that. Well, there's also integration requirements. So that's great, but we could take this to the next level. Specifically, we're looking for primitives that allow us to identify and link all the different Bosch subsystems with the VMs they're running on, the Cloud Foundry subsystems with the VMs they are running on, and the applications running in DEA processes. So that's great. We basically want our cake, and we want to eat it. So we want full visibility for the Bosch subsystems, the services, the Cloud Foundry subsystems, applications, and our legacy systems. So in other words, across everything. That's what we're looking for, to summarize that entire list of stuff we just went. Oh, and by the way, we would love to be able to do this both SaaS and on-prem, right? Talk about wanting everything. Why do we want all this stuff? Well, we basically want to minimize our capital expenses, minimize our operational expenses, and those are usually done through like consolidation of systems as well as faster reaction time in operations, and quite frankly, being able to have a smaller, leaner operations team. So that's kind of what our goals are. So that's a lot of goals. So the approach that we're going to take for the next while, and I think this is going to pan out very well for us, is we're going to partner with a vendor. And we have looked at a lot of different vendors in the monitoring space. They all bring a lot of great things to the table. The one we're going to partner with to try to give us all of this, the one that actually has all of the capacity to collect all of the data that we were looking to collect and exposes it back out again, is AppFirst. And we've been in talks with them, and basically they either fulfill those requirements for collection today, or they have them, well, the collection requirements they fulfill today, the integration ones that I had on a few slides back, their near-term roadmap will give us the primitives we need to actually build what I was talking about previously. So that'll be really sweet once that comes to fruition. And this will basically allow us to deliver exactly what we're setting out to do, what I was outlining, enterprise operations monitoring. Brief about the roadmap. First, we're going to do the Bosch integration. We're currently working with the Pivotal Web Services team and AppFirst and the Bosch integration layer. Once it's on the VMs, we now have all the systemic metrics that we're talking about. And then from there, we're going to move that up to the next, and we're going to try like alerting stuff for like, we're going to look for zombie containers and the file system remounts and stuff like that, network saturation, DA pool saturation, basically get a good set of alerts so that we can be very proactive about our monitoring. And then the phase 3 of this, basically we're looking at, what's next? What's the next thing we can do? Basically, we want to auto-detect that, hey, this is Bosch, this is Cloud Foundry, here are the subsystems, and I want you to, for all the VMs that are running each subsystem, I want you to collect the corresponding metrics or logs for that subsystem. And I also want you to go ahead and set up operational dashboards for each subsystem. So give me a dashboard for all of my DEAs, give me a dashboard for my message buses and the routers and so forth. And then the final phase is like the icing on the cake, if we can actually get there, and I think we can, is great. Now let's zoom in on the DEA pools, and for our customers' applications, let's actually get a view of their applications, all the processes aggregated, the health and logs for each application they have deployed across all of the DEAs, because this would be a wonderful value add for those of us running Cloud Foundry to offer to our end users, our customers, so that they can go and right in the console have a health view of across all of the system of their application, as well as logs right there next to it. So that would be great. By the way, we are hiring, specifically we are hiring clients. So please see us. Yeah, there's a twist on that one, huh? So still, we're hiring clients. Try cf.starkandwayne.com, just to remind you that. And if you have any questions, email me there. I think I'm more than out of time. Or see me afterwards out in the hallway. More than happy to talk to you guys about this stuff. So thank you.